Hey, if you have a paper Bible like the real kind, open it to Exodus 15 or 14, 15, 16. We're going to be looking at that today. If you don't, and you're a Bible app person, I am, no shame. Would you just grab that and get to Exodus 14, 15, 16? We're going to kind of do an overview of those three. But before we do that, who likes change here? Raise your hand. This one right here. She likes change. I always describe her as Helen Keller's worst nightmare. Because she just likes to change the furniture around just for fun. She just flips the whole room around, and like I'll come home and my bed is like over in the closet. Like, do you like that, honey? No, but in 3 days it'll be normal. So just you do you, boo, and I'll figure it out. Just be careful in the middle of the night when I get up and try to find the bathroom again. For you old guys there. As we're thinking about transition and change, I happen to be at my sister-in-law's. A lot of you think that we live in California for good reason. I have California plates on my car because I bought one there. But we sold our home in Tacoma about a year and a half ago now. Just a year ago. We bought two last year, one in Palm Springs of Washington and one in Palm Springs of California. The California one came first. We were trying to buy one up here near the Bees, Boston, Beckham, and Berkeley, for those of you that don't know them. They're the grandchildren, and at this point in life, your children are just drivers. They're really not that important. You just drive the grandkids to us and you can go away. We just want to hang out with them. And so we were thinking about that, and we ended up buying one in Yakima for the summers because we closed on our house in Palm Springs last July. We were there for a month. It was 120 degrees. That's when I said, no, we are not living here full time. No, we are not. That is not the plan, because she's from Mexicali, Mexico, where it's hotter than that, and she thinks that's amazing. I think it's a place that I try not to go to at the end of life, called hell. So we do both. We got both Palm Springs covered, and had this plan all perfect out, and then they say don't follow your kids, right? Because they'll leave you. Yeah, they did. So a lot of people think we're still down in California, and they think, wow, that's so great. You're probably really happy you got all your kids together now. I own a home in Yakima now. It doesn't matter how well you plan your life. There's always curveballs, right? So yesterday, we happened to be at my sister-in-law's house, and none of us, I don't think, are very good at change. As much as she says she's amazing at it, she just likes messing with stuff. And so my sister-in-law is talking about this piece of furniture that she just got from an estate. I mean, we live in the land of estate. Every time there's an ambulance that comes into my senior living place, all my golfing buddies go like, dude, that could be my next golf cart right there. And I have two now, literally. And so I have this piece of furniture out of her father's estate, and I got to find a place for storage, and I'm looking at her house, and she's got like furniture that was made out of a scrap piece of wood along this wall, and this piece in her garage is literally the nicest piece of furniture she owns, like by 10 times. And what she has here is like, oh, I could never move that. And she's got nothing, like we've been doing estates, like this stuff on top of that, you can't even give away. It's FOD, foreign object debris. Okay, I live near NAS Whidbey. So like I could never bring that in here because this piece that was made out of scrap wood is more important. What she's really saying is, I really don't like change. And I can't take this beautiful piece and put it in here because that would be change. And we just don't do change very well. And I've been doing change for the last couple of years, it feels like. And so now, as we were moving, I ran across a file from a message back when we used to print things on paper. And this file said crossover people. I'm like, oh, I remember that. That's a series I did in the early 90s at Living Word in Oak Harbor. We know that place, huh? And we were there for 20 years, and I had preached this message. I didn't have the courage to open it and read it. I'm like, I don't even want to know what I was thinking then. It probably wasn't very good is my thought. And I'm doing my devotions, and I run through Exodus 14, 15, and 16, where they cross over. And so I've been thinking about what it is to cross over, and I want to tell you 3 things that I want you to take away from this today. And so the first thing I want you to take away is that, 1, God's got you. No matter what you're up against, God's got you. The second thing I want you to take away is let him do the work. And the third thing that I want you to take away is gratitude is the best way to live. It just is. I mean, we are, Dave Ramsey says, better than I deserve, right? So the children of Israel are easy to mock, aren't they? I mean, they just do the silliest things. They like whine and complain and I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And the biggest problem with that is that's supposed to be a foreshadow of us. What they're saying when the children of Israel do something silly is like, yeah, you kind of do that too. And I never liked that part of the stories because I'm like, I don't want to be that way. I don't want to do that. I want to live a righteous and a holy life and walk in joy and peace. So let's look at this point where they're getting ready to cross over into the Red Sea, or through the Red Sea. Let's back up just a minute because let's remember that they're slaves. Let's remember that they keep going Moses keeps going to Pharaoh going like, hey, let my people go. No, oh yeah, no, yeah, no. And so 10 different plagues, right? Remember? Turning things, water to blood, frogs, lice, flies, livestock and pestilence, boils, hail, locust, darkness, and then the Passover. When the firstborn of everybody that did the right symbolic things with blood on their doorposts were passed over. And the Egyptians didn't believe that. And what happened? The firstborn all died. And they're like, that's it. They have to go. Get those Israelites out of here. They've been nothing but a pain. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. So one of my favorite parts in this story is Pharaoh begins to chase after them as they left with their fists raised in defiance, verse 8 says, chapter 14, verse 8. They left with their fists raised in defiance. Now, understand, they've been slaves for years. And as they walk out the door, they're like, yeah, sucker. We got this. You're junk. You got nothing on us. Like, you just like made bricks for years. And we're beaten. And it kind of reminds me of Alice Cooper. It's like the last rock concert I went to before I became a Christian. School's out forever, right? And it's such a defiant song. There's no more principals, no more teachers, no more this. Yeah, the day after school's out, you're like that. But when the principal's looking at you, you're like, yes, sir, no, sir, I'll do it. It could be, or it could be like, that's how it is, or it could be like our current justice system. But that's another story. So they take off, and as they leave, they're right up against the Red Sea, and they're ready to cross over the Red Sea. But mind you, that's never happened in history. So they're not thinking like, oh, cool, we're here. God will do a miracle. We'll just walk through on dry land. They're just like at the Red Sea, and they look back and like, Egypt rather, decided like, what are we doing? We just ruined our entire economic system. And so they begin to go like, let's go get them. And so here they go. And if you've ever been to Israel, I mean, it's like a lot of space, a lot of open, and you can see for a really, really long ways. And they begin to complain to Moses, like, dude, why didn't you just leave well enough alone? It wasn't that bad in slavery. We were okay. Verse 12 literally says, 11 and 12 says, they said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, you've taken us a way to die in the wilderness? Why have you so dealt with us to bring us up out of Egypt? So it is not the world that we told you in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians, for it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than it would be to die in the wilderness. I mean, that's basically what they're thinking, is like, we're up against the sea, excuse me, and they're saying, what are you thinking? Like, this isn't going to end well. We're stuck. We're doomed. We're going to be dead here in a minute. I don't know about you, but every time I am in a situation with the Lord, I'm kind of going like, hey, God, remember? Excuse me? I kind of got my back against the wall. Remember? Excuse me? Over here. Yeah, it's me. I need something. And that's kind of where the children of Israel were. We just listened to this song on the drive over from Yakima this morning, On Time God by Chandler Moore. You're the on-time God. You love the impossible. You're the on-time God. You love doing miracles. You're never too late. You never give up. How many of us have had our backs against the wall, or the Red Sea in this case, and going like, hey, over here, aisle 3, remember? And here we come to Exodus 14:14, where he says, be still and see God fight for you. I don't know about you, but that's so contrary to my personality. Let's just stand here. Egypt's coming. They're mad. They got the war stuff on, and they're coming after us. And he says, yeah, just stand here. Okay, like, excuse me? Could you repeat that? I'd like to figure out how to get out of this. This is not looking good. No, just be still. Be still and watch me fight for you. Oftentimes in life, that's all you have. But we don't like it. Why don't we like it? Because we want to fix it for God. Remember the story of Ishmael? Didn't work out so well, right? Be still. He'll take care of this. Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted among the earth. In verse 15, he says this, why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. It's just so, like, they're going, oh God, save us. He's going, I'll fight for you. Don't worry about it. And then they're crying. I mean, you ever had a freak out moment? I'm about to die. God, where are you? I'm about to die. This is terrible. You have a freak out moment, and God goes, why are they crying? Just go across. Excuse me? There's a sea right there. No. There's no crying in trusting the Lord. Tom Hanks. Verse 16. Lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry land. So in obedience, he does that, and boom, there it is. It opens up, and the children go through the Red Sea on dry ground. Verse 22, the children just go right through. The walls of water, literally, just right there, divided up. And then we get to chapter 15, and they throw a party. Nobody can party like Israel. I remember being at the Great Wall and watching these young Israeli soldiers just start dancing because one of their buddies got engaged. I mean, somebody got engaged here, they go like, sucker, what's wrong with you? Ball and chain coming. I mean, like, right? I mean, like, we would not be going like, oh man, let's throw a party. Let's start dancing in the street. You'd be like, what's wrong with these people? That's normal. They know how to celebrate. And so the entire chapter 15, we used to sing this when we first got saved 100 years ago. Yeah. I will sing unto the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. I won't sing it for you. The horse and the rider are thrown into the sea. Nearly the whole chapter is a celebration of what God has done. I mean, that's like, whoa, we got free. We got to the Red Sea. We're going to die. Oh, God, where are you? Miracle opens up. Walk through on dry land through the middle of the sea. I mean, like, not a normal Sunday, right? Yeah. Doesn't happen every day. Dry land through sea. Okay, I have a hard time just putting that in my mind. They walk through it. They throw a party because the water comes back. It destroys their enemy. That's a good thing if you're about ready to be killed by them. before the end of the celebration, chapter 15, and the people complained against Moses, saying, what are we going to drink? I don't know. But I know that just a little chapter ago, we were going to die, and God provided a way of escape. I'm going to guess he might have that one covered too. So I was thinking as I was looking at that folder going like, I wonder what I said a crossover person was, because I think that when I cross over into the promised land, I'm just going to have a fat and sassy life the rest of my life. How about you? I remember coming to Jesus at 18, walking out of McConnell Auditorium in Ellensburg, Washington, where Josh McDowell, author of Evidence That Demands a Verdict, this was before that even, had spoken. I checked the box. I think I might have been a Christian by then. I don't know. I checked that little box and but I don't know, something's missing. I remember giving my life to the Lord. I remember walking out of that feeling like I could forearm shiver a car on 14th there in Ellensburg. If somebody comes, well, I'm going to rip it, just boom, and it's going to go, because that's how close I was to God and how empowered I felt and how I was never going to have another problem because I just entered the promised land. And then I had to go back to school the next week and had geology. Like, Lord God, who studies rocks? Sorry for you geologists. Verse 16, or chapter 16, verse 2, the whole congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said, oh, that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat, when we ate bread and full, and we brought this into the wilderness. Like, what a mess. I thought when I came to Jesus, I would have that. I thought that when I was laying on my bed in Ephrata, Washington at 19, and I just had a visitation from the Holy Spirit. I began to speak in other tongues, didn't even know what it was. I thought, man, now I'm in the promised land. I remember thinking that when I married this beautiful woman here 46 years ago, that I'd walked into the promised land, and then I found out I just got a little helper. Yeah. Where to turn, and when the light turns green, and zip your zipper up. I literally preached an entire message. And when I came and sit down, a little in Cooley City, Washington, I sat down, and he goes, your zipper's been down the whole sermon. I'm like, thanks for helping. I didn't want to make a big deal. I heard about it from the ladies behind me. Thanks. I thought I entered the promised land when I got called to ministry. I thought when I was pastoring on Whidbey, when we built this new building, I thought I'd entered the promised land. I thought that perhaps it was when great things happened and we got to retire. And then I found out there was like health issues, and all the money I saved now became all the money that went out every month. It just goes out, out, out. Used to come in, now it goes out, out, out. I'm married to a shopper. She's got a shopping demon. So where is that abundant life, that Zoe life? See, I think each one of those comes with an abundance. And after every mountain is a bit of a challenge, isn't it? After every mountaintop comes a valley. We just drove over the mountains. Boom, down into the valley. So what is the mountain? I mean, you had a leader here for 10 years. Great mountaintop. And you're about to get a new Moses. And that Moses will open the doors or the Red Sea waters, and you'll walk in, and then you'll be going like, dude, is that all they're serving is manna? I'm going over to such and such because I hear they got steak over there. There's no water here. It's changed. I got across, but I don't know. My mentor, Jerry Cook, used to say all the time, stop praying for the new pastor. Like, that's a weird thing to say, Jerry. Why would you say that? Because God has ordained that from the beginning of time. It's already set. You can pray all you want, but it's already set. Start praying for yourself. Well, that sounds kind of selfish. No, pray that you will become the best parishioner for that new Moses. Because they're going to bring you through the Red Sea, but they're going to walk you into a valley, and you're going to be going like, this sucks. I would have rather died back there in the land of Veach. No, you really wouldn't. Gratitude, cheesy line, sorry, it's coming. Gratitude is the attitude that sets the latitude of your life. If you live in gratitude for what God has done for you, He opened up the Red Sea and let you go through, then you can live in peace for the rest of your life. And every single challenge that you face, you know He's got you. Or you can go like, I should have died back there. It was so much better. Right? Like, really? You should have died? Like, you know how dumb that is? Yeah, I know, because I do that. I know, because it's not just the children of Israel. It's my story. And I looked at people and go like, well, I like them. I didn't like this one. I like following this one. I like working for this boss, not that boss. Doesn't really matter in the end of it, does it? Because who's got you? God's got you. You can complain about it all you want. It's not going to help you. What's going to help you is gratitude.